Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Trennon. That's Ryan. Say what's up, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And this is the Trennon and Ryan Sports Show, episode four. Episode four. Big episode coming your way. A lot of fun topics. Super Bowl recap, college basketball recap, and look forward to some big announcements on betting, some quick college football talk, and we're going to cover some FCS stuff too. So if you're watching on YouTube, this will be the YouTube version. Like and follow and share with your friends. So I appreciate it. Let's get right into it. The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. So I was right. Many people won't give me credit, but I was right.
You
I
were
was
right.
right. I was more right than other people. Not a lot of people were on Tampa Bay. I didn't think it would be the blowout it was. It was an incredibly big blowout. Um, Bad Super Bowl overall. Not well liked. A lot of people were complaining about how it was boring.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Did you do anything fun for the Super Bowl?
Not really. I just watched it on the sofa. Nothing crazy.
Did y'all have any food?
No,
Like any
just
food? And then I had some ribs I cooked earlier that day. They were
ooh, nice.
fantastic.
Should have
Fantastic.
had me over
Yeah, maybe next year.
next year.
We
We'll
had
see.
some COVID stuff I had to deal with, so I just wanted to stay home by myself. I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
throw a party, but we had some COVID stuff I had to deal with, so it was best that I didn't have anybody over that night.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, I was right. Um, didn't think I was gonna be that right, but I was definitely right. Tom Brady played a great game. Usually he doesn't play that great in the Super Bowl, but they had a great game this past game, and two touchdowns to Gronkowski,
Yep.
touchdown to Antonio Brown. Patriots and Steeler fans were like, "Oh my god!" But that was pretty exciting. I think he's. Is there any doubt in your mind that Tom Brady is the best football player of all time?
No, there's no doubt. I mean, you don't win 7 championships. I mean, no one's won that.
There's
I mean,
guys that's won it.
yeah, exactly. Like, basketball's different. A lot of people kind of look at basketball as like, I think Jordan has 6. I think Bill Russell has like 13 or something like that. But yeah, no one's won 7. No one's even come close to 7. Um, he's, he has some of the most yard. I think Drew Brees has a few more yards than he does in career passing yards. But still, Tom Brady still he's coming back apparently. Tom Brady's just the best. There's no doubt about it.
Did you see the video of today? Tom Brady completely blasted. Did you see that video? It was
Oh
circulating
my God.
around on Twitter. Yeah, there's a video of Tom Brady. They had their parade today, but they didn't have a parade. They had like a boat thing or whatever.
I saw Gronk on the boat.
Yeah, yeah. You saw Gronk like,
He was having
yeah,
fun.
yeah, having fun with the trophy. Yeah, I saw that too. But yeah, Tom Brady got wasted today. Well, and they said there's a video I'll have to share with you after. I'll share it on I think I already shared it on my Twitter, but he's getting carried out, essentially getting not carried. He like has this dude holding on to him, and he is
Yeah.
messed up. So I guess he does that TB12 method all the time. So maybe he deserved to have a few after winning the Super Bowl in Florida. I'm sure there's a difference between Boston, Massachusetts, and Florida, especially in this winter. They were
You
all
have a little fun. It's kind of fun.
yeah, yeah. Tom Brady deserves to have a couple moments of just like
Why not?
enjoying himself, drinking a few beers or whatever he was
Yeah,
drinking.
he,
He
he's
didn't
past
drink a
Bill
beer.
Belichick. Doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Just have fun.
Yeah, Bruce Arians way more relaxed than Bill Belichick was. I saw him celebrating. I think it's good for the city of Tampa. They had a couple of championships. I believe Tampa Bay Lightning, they won the NHL championship. I could be wrong about that. I think they won.
I can't remember if it was last year, or maybe like 2 years ago. But yeah, they won some.
They're doing good, and Tampa Bay Rays are doing really good. I think in baseball, and I wrote a thing about them. And that maybe the city of Tampa is the place to be. Miami maybe is a little overblown. Maybe Tampa Bay is the place to be. And
I mean,
Florida,
Miami hasn't won anything in a very long time. So
yeah, since the Heatles won a couple years and back in the early
yeah,
2010s. But I mean, other than them, it wasn't for LeBron James going there, they wouldn't have won anything.
no.
But what do you think happened to the Chiefs?
Man, I don't know. I mean, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was running for his life the entire game. I mean, the offensive line did not help him at all. Like,
No.
he was just running around, and he was trying his best. Like, he had some incredible throws. I think there's one where he's literally, like,
Falling down.
throws, yeah, I mean,
And I
it
think the play that you're talking about, that guy should have caught that touchdown.
yeah,
He
hit him in the face.
Yeah, it's
Hit him
crazy.
in the face.
The Patrick
I
Mahomes is great.
I think it was, just disappointing with the offensive line, and there were a lot of drops, there were a lot of penalties. Um, it just didn't seem like it was their night. They just could not get it together.
Yeah, I had some points I made last episode, in episode 3, or in the NFL episode, I believe, that were like, they got to do this, they got to do that, they got to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes was one of them. Tom Brady has to not throw any real bad interceptions. I said he could have one. He had one, I think. And
No picks.
oh, he didn't have any picks.
He threw a pick, but it was overturned.
Oh yeah, because of the
Yeah,
flag. That's right. That's
yeah,
right. And yeah, they had a flag down the field on holding, defensive holding. I remember that
yeah,
now. And so he didn't do that. And I said Tampa Bay's defensive line needed to get to Patrick Mahomes. I said that. And then I said the cornerbacks need to cover Tyreek Hill, and they did that. Tampa Bay didn't score an offensive touchdown. I think it's his first time, Patrick Mahomes' first time since like being at Texas Tech or something like that, which
yeah.
is
It was the
crazy.
first time, I saw a stat, it was, like, the first time that Patrick Mahomes has lost the football game by more than one possession since Iowa State beat Texas Tech 66-10, and I don't even know what
Oh
I don't even know the
man,
year. I think it was,
Yeesh.
like, 2017 or 2016.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I feel that offensive line failed him completely. And if anything, that should show NFL teams around the country that you can have the best quarterback in the world, but if your offensive line is bad, it doesn't matter. I mean, you
Yep.
look at Houston, that was their problem the entire year. Deshaun Watson had like a career year, but their offensive line, he was running for his life the whole year. So it doesn't matter if you have a great quarterback. I mean, Deshaun Watson is great, and they
Yeah.
didn't have
Yeah,
any
protect him.
offensive line. So, I mean, it should be a signal to any NFL team that if you have a bad offensive line or not like one that's not shored up, it doesn't matter if you have Peyton Manning or Tom Brady back there. They can't be running for their life every play.
Yeah.
He was literally running for his life every play. It felt like every possession they had, he was just running, running, running.
Running, yeah. And what's shocking is, like, the offensive line really isn't that bad. Like, they have some stars on there. They have some good players. Um,
But
but they
a
just
couple injuries they had on the tackle position was killing.
yeah, and I think the center was out too of COVID or something like that, which kinda, I mean, the center is very important, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just didn't seem like it was their night. I mean, obviously, Kansas City's a great team. They went 14-2 in the regular season. They made it to the Super Bowl. It just wasn't their night.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing for Kansas City fans, but as a team who hates to see people win championships 2 years in a row, I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, I used to hate Tom Brady, man, when he was in New England, but now he's
Mhm.
in Tampa Bay. I just don't hate him anymore. I kind of like
Yeah.
it. I kind of like Tom Brady now. I hated him when he was in New England, mainly because New England always beat Pittsburgh, always
Yeah.
pissed me off. And it just, I'm glad to see. I like old Tom Brady. 30 in the 30 when he was 30 something in his 30s, he was
He had
cocky.
the mullet.
Yeah, I hated him. But now he's
Mullet.
old man. He's in his 40s. He's what, 44? I think,
43 or 44, yeah.
and he's going to be probably 45, 44, 45 next season. It's going to be like he's going to be an old man. He's only like 6 years younger than my dad, you know? That's crazy. And he's still playing in the NFL. I mean, what a guy. I mean, what a guy. What a talent. It really tells you what good diet it will do for you. But
Yeah, I mean, I saw another thing that said, Tom Brady graduated high school before Patrick Mahomes was born.
that's crazy. I mean, I saw a thing the other
Crazy.
day. One thing I should think we should know before we move on, before I lose my train of thought, is the NCAA video game coming back. We can talk about that. The
It's very important.
I mean the college football talk. But there was a picture of Tom Brady in his first NCAA first video game when he was at Michigan. And he was like pixelated. It was like it was late 1990s, I think. And
Yeah,
he was all pixelated, crabby graphics, and now he's like basically himself in the new Madden game. I was like, that's crazy.
it's
For him to
crazy.
play that long to be in a video game when video games were basically just pixelated to a
Yeah,
point now where I mean, the graphics, it's basically like him in video game person, which is just insane.
it's it's mind blowing that he's played this long. But props to him. He got 7 Super Bowls now.
But another point I like to make before we leave the Super Bowl talk: Jackson Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes' brother, douchebag, scumbag, hate him, and he's an awful person. I think he does a lot of dancing
A
on
lot of
TikTok.
dancing.
I'm a big TikTok guy, so I see him doing the dancing, the renegades or whatever, and I just hate. I don't hate him, I guess. I don't know the guy, but I think it was good for them people, him, Jackson Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend, to like get a little like slice of humble pie, take some. I mean, if you're gonna dance on other people's graves, you got to be ready when somebody comes and dances on your grave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a quick point. You don't have to talk about it, but I like to make that point that most of our audience is probably gonna be like, "Who the heck is that?" But for me, it was a personal vendetta. I'm glad to see him taken down a level. I'm glad that happened. So if anything, I'm glad Tom Brady won the Super Bowl just so that one thing could happen.
Just
So
so
we could
Jackson Mahomes' brother lost. Exactly.
yeah. So exactly. And Patrick Mahomes, I feel bad for him. Kind of, not really. I mean, he's great, makes millions
He
of
won.
dollars.
He won last year.
Yeah. Never mind. I don't feel bad for him. But Jackson Mahomes, you're welcome. A little slice of humble pie. Be careful when you start dancing on other people's fields and stuff like that. You deserve to swallow this loss. So that's
Fair
my
enough.
thoughts
Fair enough.
on the Super Bowl. I was 100% right. If you would have listened to me and took the Chiefs, took the Buccaneers, you would have won big money.
They won some money.
Saw it. I predicted it. Ryan didn't. Ryan didn't. A lot of people didn't. I give you credit, Ryan. You're not the only one. Everybody in the world took the Chiefs.
It was
Everyone.
shocking.
Everyone.
It was
I
shocking.
if when my prediction, in my last week's episode, when I gave my prediction 41-38, that's to tells you how close I thought it was going to be. But it turns out, what was it, 38, 31-9?
319.
Yeah, so whatever.
It is what it
What
is.
do you think about the halftime show before we move on?
It was a little weird.
That's what everybody says. I like.
I didn't like it. No,
I'm
it
a week.
was.
I think the Weeknd's a good singer. I like a lot of his songs, like a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was impressed. I liked it. I thought it was good.
It was just a little out there for me. I don't know. I mean,
It
that's
was
just me.
weird. If you didn't kind of like know, he's a weird guy anyway, and
He's
his
a little out
tactics.
there.
Yeah, his tactics recently has been real weird. But this is kind of like, I thought it was good. I like the music. That's why I kind of follow. I'm a
There
little
you go.
biased,
There you
but
go.
all right. Well, that ends the NFL segment. Tom Brady, GOAT, greatest of all time, won the battle between him and Belichick. I think obviously you see now Tampa Bay couldn't even make the playoffs last year, and now they won the Super Bowl. But pretty much the same players other than Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, and
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. So the all 2013 NFL team has won the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised. We won't talk about this episode, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won it again next year, or at least made it back, or was close.
They'll
So
be good next year.
yeah, see, you're doubting them already. See, that's the same attitude that that's why you pick
I
Kansas.
haven't said anything. I haven't said
I
anything.
saw your face. I saw your face.
They'll be good.
But we're gonna go ahead and move on to college basketball. I got a bunch of notes on this, so prepare for a deep dive
Let's do
into
it.
basketball. So I had a couple of hours to prepare. So last night, Tuesday night, we were filming on Wednesday. I know the podcast releases on Friday morning at around 10, but last night we had Kentucky versus Arkansas. Arkansas won 81-80. Huge win for the Hogs. In my notes, I have that I watched the highlights in the game. I watched some of the game. I watched the highlights before filming, and a really close game. Kentucky busted out of the gates with a lead, and then Arkansas had a lead the majority of the time. And Kentucky kind of came back within the last minute, scored about 6-7 points. And Arkansas, I mean, they got to a point where Arkansas was driving underneath the basket, got fouled, and that's how he hit 2 free throws. We were down 80-79. Jalen Tate hit 2 free throws, and we won the game. But some stats I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Going into the game, Kentucky was horrid shooting from deep. lo and behold, when they play the Arkansas Razorbacks, they start hitting all of them. Kentucky shot 14 from 26 from three, which is a 53.8% 3-point percentage, which is unbelievable. I mean, it's believable. Arkansas always has that. They're always, I don't care what anybody says, Arkansas plays their teams at always the best. It's never easy with them, but then they win now. We won. Great
Yeah.
win. But Kentucky stinks this year. Their players are awful. I was listening to somebody today, and they said, live by the one and done, die by the one and done. So you can tell Kentucky's players are not good. I mean,
They're
and
not.
the thing today that three of their players, I don't know their names, but three of their players are planning to leave anyway. They stink. I mean, I think these players go to Kentucky and of oh, I'm at Kentucky and I'm going to be great in the NBA. And that might be true for some of them. And there have been some great Kentucky
I
players.
mean, most of the time that's true.
Yeah, and there have been like Devin Booker, there Anthony Davis, the guy in Carl Anthony Towns. There's probably hundreds of them that I'm. Eric Bledsoe,
Yeah,
I think he went to Kentucky. Hundreds of them
so many.
in the NBA, but these ones this year stink. And they should. And they're freshmen, and they're not very good right now. But if they come back, I bet they would. If Kentucky had these players come back for next year,
It could
they'd be
put something
great
on.
next year, I bet you. But they're not going to do that. They're going to go to the NBA, which I think is a big mistake. But I'm going to get on Kentucky. Arkansas offensively attacked the basket. That's how they gained a lot of their points. They didn't shoot that well from three. I think they were like 9 and 26 or 24 or something like that. They shot like under 40% from the 3-point percentage. They had an okay game for three, but they had made a lot of their money attacking the basket. Made a lot of attack the basket plays, not a lot of mid range, not great from three, only hit 9 of them. But I feel overall they did a great job attacking the basket. They really took advantage of Kentucky's interior defense was kind of weak. So they had a great that. Kentucky also had 11 turnovers. One killed them at the end of the game. Jalen Tate, when he hit his two free throws, Kentucky still had 4.8 seconds left on the clock. And the Kentucky dude was dribbling down the court, and the Arkansas guy just came and snatched it front. Well, caught the pass in midair and dunked it. It was over. The clock had already run out at that point. But huge win for the Hogs. First time since 2014 that Arkansas had won a basketball game or beating Kentucky, and not even at Rupp Arena. They played at Rupp Arena last night, and Arkansas beat them there. That was the first time since 2014 Arkansas had beaten Kentucky. So a huge win for the Hogs. Another fact I want to point out: a lot of people are complaining about how Jalen Tate the foul. Did you see anything about the Arkansas game? Or am I
No.
speaking? So there was a foul, the foul that I've been talking about. A lot of people, a lot of Kentucky fans are complaining about the foul not being legit. I think that's a little crap. I think if you look at the play, he gets smacked in the head, like he just gets slammed in the head. So it's obviously a foul. I mean, if you don't like the foul, don't hit the dude in the freaking head. I mean, that's just he just slams him in the head. So when he was going to shoot, and the guy slams him in the head. So that's kind of how that happened. But that's how he got the few. I just want to point out that anybody calling that saying that wasn't a foul, you're a biased Kentucky fan. I just point that out. I think you're just biased. I mean, you could say that I think it's foul because I'm a biased Arkansas fan, but whatever. That's fine. I just think it was a foul. You got slammed in the friggin' head. So 4.3 seconds left in the game when that happened. So slammed. But he hits the two free throws, 81-80. Arkansas wins. Connor Vanover had 12 points. Moses Moody had 14. Jalen Tate had 15, our leading scorer. A lot of spreading the love around with Arkansas. There's never one guy that gets like 100 points, but like 20 something. But so Arkansas, they have a good thing going where everybody scores. JD had 11 points off the bench. Huge win for the Hogs. First wins in Kentucky since 2014. What more can you think about the Arkansas Razorbacks? We'll get to a little bit of conference standings in a little bit. I'm going to move on. Clemson this past Saturday, Syracuse, 78-61. Did you catch any of that? Or did you see they won? Or
I caught a little bit of the game, caught the tail end of it.
there wasn't much to watch.
I mean, it's still impressive. I mean, Syracuse is generally a pretty good team. Definitely a basketball school. They're definitely brought to the ACC for their basketball. They're not great this year. They're okay. But it's still a pretty, good win. It's a confidence booster, and Clemson got a nice win.
Yeah, Clemson dominated the game from the start, really. They got out to an early, like 10-0 run, or like, well, Syracuse, they scored like five, and then Clemson just went on a 10-0 run. It was like 5-5 or 5-2 or something like that. And Clemson went out, hopped out to an early lead. It was blowout the whole game. It was over at half, if you want to look at it from that perspective. But I think it was a good game for the Tigers. I'm going to get into some stuff here in a little bit. But Clemson looking pretty good for the tournament right now. I said in one of our earlier episodes that they needed to get into the tournament to save Brad Brunell's job. It looks like they're probably going to do that. And I have some stats to back that up. But some good stats for Clemson and Arkansas. But it's good that Clemson's playing so well right now. They need to keep it going. I think they will. I think they have a lot of lower ACC teams coming up, so which is good for them. They played a lot of their tough schedule, so now that they can maybe they can get kind of keep a steady ship flowing
Get
and
started.
make it to the tournament. So
Yeah.
right now, Clemson, Amir Sims also led the game with 18 points, while Nick Honor had 15. Nick had several 3-pointers down the stretch that really kind of nailed the coffin shut, and Amir Sims just dominated the game with 18 points. So Amir Sims, Clemson's veteran leader, so he's been playing really well. So I think Clemson, good spot. It might not seem like it when I give these stats, but Clemson's a pretty decent little spot, right? So as of right now, Clemson is 7th in the ACC. Pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
3rd in the SEC. Oh, Arkansas is 3rd in the SEC. Oh my God.
Okay.
I was like 3rd in the SEC. Arkansas is 3rd in the SEC. As of right now, if Tennessee wins tonight, Arkansas will be jumped to 4th. And if Missouri wins, they'll be jumped to 5th. So not 5th. Somebody else had to win too. I don't remember who it was. Arkansas will probably be 5th at the end of the night. But that's okay. I think LSU. But Arkansas right now trending pretty good in the SEC, playing good basketball. Big win over Kentucky will help boost them. I don't care what anybody says. Kentucky is a name. They do have good talent. They bring 5 stars in. They may not be playing good, but they still, still have the name. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But, so cover some. I'm going to do a quick dive into covering some Saturday and Tuesday night top 25 matchups. Oklahoma is included in here.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah,
good win.
Yeah, so number 5 Houston won 112 to 46 over a wild team's name.
It was My Lady. What was
it? Yeah, My Lady something. Our Lady of the Lake. I was like, what the heck is that name? But Our Lady of the Lake, yeah. What a crazy name. I don't know what in the world, the Lady of the Lake. Is that supposed to be like some Christian thing or something like that?
I figured it was like a British team or something. I mean, probably not, but
yeah, I don't think so. But I don't know. What a wild name. I have to look up after this show what that name is, because it doesn't sound like. Does that sound like a Christian thing? There's no Lady in the Lake in the Christianity faith, so I don't think, unless it's like Mary or something like that. Maybe it's a Catholic thing. But why would she be with the lake? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being dumb and can't think about it.
King Arthur, like just Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, no, that isn't that. Well, maybe it's like maybe it is. Who knows? That's a crazy name. But
college.
The only reason I included them on there was because they beat Our Lady in the Lakes or Lady of the Lake or whatever. That's why I added them. They blew them out 112 to 46. That's tough. But Oklahoma State beat number 6 Texas 76 to 67.
Big win.
Cade Cunningham, I think it's important to mention him always because he's going to be number 1 pick in the draft. 19 points. I found out the day that the only reason he went to Oklahoma State was because his brother's like a coach there or something. I don't know if he's the head coach or like an assistant coach, but that's why he went to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma won 79 to 72 over number 9 Oklahoma. Should mention that. Beat Iowa State 79-72. Big win for the Sooners. Did you catch any of that? Did you see that?
No, I missed that one.
Okay. Well, I didn't really watch the highlights, but big win for Oklahoma.
Good
number
win.
18 Missouri beat number 10 Alabama 68-65. Alabama kind of been on a hot streak recently. So Missouri.
I did see a little bit of that. That was kind of That was an interesting game. I did not expect Mizzou to win.
Low scoring game. Low scoring, 68-65, not a high scoring game. Well, the rest of these scores are kind of high scoring game because they're all lower than this one. Number 12, Illinois beat number 19, Wisconsin, 75-60. Number 17, West Virginia beat number 23, Kansas, 91-79. That probably knocked Kansas from the rank of the
Yeah.
top 25. And USC, we mentioned this last week. That's why I wrote this. USC beat number 21, UCLA, 66-48, kind of blowout fashion there as well.
Big win for the Trojans.
Yeah, big win for the Trojans, who are now ranked. I'd like to mention that they are ranked. Yesterday, other than that Arkansas versus Kentucky game that I previously mentioned, West Virginia, number 14, West Virginia, they moved up a couple spots, 3 spots, beat number 7, Texas Tech, 82-71, kind of blew them out as well. 11-point win. So I think that's a good win for West Virginia. West Virginia has been on a tear recently. They got some big games coming up.
They've been playing well, yeah.
And Alabama, number 11, Alabama barely squeaked by a lowly South Carolina team, 81-78. Thought I'd throw that lowly in there. Remind our Gamecock listeners.
Credit to the Gamecocks, though, because they beat Florida last week.
Congratulations.
It's my shout out. It's my shout out to South Carolina for the week.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a big South Carolina guy, but whatever.
I'm not either, but I gotta give them a little bit of credit.
That's true. That's true. It's fair. That's fair.
Hello.
So for the next coming week, games to watch: number 12 versus Oklahoma versus number 14 West Virginia.
It'll be a fun one. It's gonna be a good game.
Big game for the. I'm going to try to watch that game.
A lot of points.
Yeah, if I can watch that game, I'm going to try to watch that game. Number 16 versus LSU. LSU is one of those teams like Arkansas that probably would be ranked in a normal world, but it's not a normal world, so they're unranked. So still a big matchup. LSU can win some big games if they need to and want to.
They got talent.
Arkansas goes to number 10, Missouri. Like I said, I think Arkansas should be ranked. They're not. I think it's unfair to the Hogs. They're 15-5, but whatever. Big win again. We had a close game against Missouri, very close game against them at Arkansas. So this is at Missouri. So hopefully we can pull the win off. We had a big win in Kentucky. Maybe we can beat Missouri. We don't want them to sweep us.
Exactly.
Number 5, Villanova, who lost last week, versus number 19, Creighton. Big win for that. Big win, kind of just detailing maybe what could be in that conference. Number 9, Virginia versus North Carolina. I always put those big name schools. North Carolina's unranked, but you never know. They had a big win against Duke, I believe.
Yeah, they had a big win against Duke at 91-85.
Those two teams stank, but
they're not great. But who knows? North Carolina could still get in the tournament.
Yeah, it's close for them. Number 7, Texas Tech versus number 2, Baylor. That's the next game.
That is going to be a fun game.
That's going to be a barn burner.
That's going to be a fun one. Where is that? Where is it? Lubbock or Waco?
I believe it's in Baylor.
Okay.
Waco.
Yeah. That'll be a fun game. That'll be fun.
Baylor will have some fans, but I don't think the home court matters as much as it used to. I don't know, man. I mean, it might. Them fans can get loud in there if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it is indoor, I guess. So,
Clemson. So I'm going to go through Joe Lunardi. I looked up on his Twitter page some of the basketball stuff, tournament stuff. So I got 2 good things for both Arkansas and Clemson. We'll start with Clemson. Clemson was highlighted green today. So Clemson's 30th right now in the tournament. If it started today, they'd be 30th, the ranked 30th seed. And they have an 80% chance of getting in. They were highlighted green. So if Clemson, doesn't completely collapse, they have an 80% chance of getting into the tournament right now. They were highlighted green, mainly, like I said, because their schedule gets a little easier. Probably if they win 1 or 2 games in the ACC tournament, probably in.
Yeah.
Arkansas, not highlighted green, but nothing bad against them at all. They had no recognition. So there's Joe Lunardi does a bunch of bolds, colors. They had nothing. They were just there. So that's always good. We prefer to not be good, or I guess it's better to be nothing than bad. So I like to point that. They're 35th. So right behind Clemson.
Yeah, still in.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got into the same seeding area. I'm not saying they will, but I don't think it's not possible. I think they could. Usually Arkansas gets placed in the Southwest bracket,
Mm,
and Clemson usually gets placed in the Southeast bracket. So that's usually how that rolls. But who knows?
yeah.
See what happens. Um, Betting. So they haven't really come out with the betting lines for Saturday yet, full. So I will be posting my betting lines on my Instagram story and my Twitter story. I have some betting lines already. I can look them up real fast, but I have some betting lines already tweeted out for tomorrow. I took big spreads for tomorrow. Um, Iowa State plus 14, UNLV versus plus 11, and Washington plus 11 and a half. That's versus USC. I don't remember who the Iowa State game is, but or the UNLV, but those are my big picks. All the pluses. I just see those big spreads and I'm like, I don't know about that. You never know. I mean, they could have a bunch of injuries I just don't know about, but it
Yeah.
seems like to
COVID.
me, next week I'll go back and I'll look at all my picks for this weekend coming up and we'll see how I did, but hopefully I'll do pretty good. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
those are my picks for February 11th. Um, so I want to do a quick topic, something we can both talk about. I want to do interesting topic. Who can right now? Who do you think can win the national championship in the NCAA tournament? And I'll give you the one seeds, and then I'll let you talk about it. One and two seeds. So right now, the season ended today. Gonzaga, Baylor, Michigan, and Ohio State would be the one seeds, and the two seeds would be Illinois, Villanova, Alabama, and Houston. Who do you think out of that little group there, or anybody, whoever you think, could actually win the national NCAA?
I think the two teams to watch out for are Gonzaga and Baylor.
That is the consensus. Everybody's saying Gonzaga and Baylor. They don't think anybody else has a shot, but you never know.
It's the tournament. There's so many upsets, but Gonzaga. At first, I thought they had a good strength of schedule because they played a lot of Big 12 teams at the beginning. But the Big 12 teams that they played, like Kansas, they beat Kansas, have kind of started to fall off a little bit, and it's not looking as good as a win as it maybe should. But Baylor, I mean, Baylor, obviously they're playing a full Big 12 schedule, and the Big 12's been pretty good this year, and they're crushing it. So I think Baylor should be the favorite.
Yeah, Baylor seems like it. I mean, the NCAA tournament, we always say, oh, there's a lot of upsets. Everybody always says that. And it's true, there is. But if you look at it, majority of the time, it's always like the people we thought at the end, most of the time now. Now, I will raise my hand and say that. Sometimes it's not like that. But most of the time, usually it's the people we always think is going to be there. It's usually the people who's there. You know what I mean? There's usually what happens in the final four.
Yeah.
In the final four, there's always like maybe like three we thought would be there, and one that's like, whoa, no way. And that one that's kind of just riding the wave. Kind of like South Carolina a couple years ago. Like
Yeah.
they were riding that wave, but in the final four knocked out. That's kind of, I mean, there's always one team that's riding the wave, but at the end of the day, the big boys usually make it, usually compete
Exactly.
for the
Yeah.
championship. I agree with you. I think Gonzaga and Baylor. I think you have to
Okay.
look out for both Michigan and Ohio State. I do like both of those teams. Michigan's doing a little COVID thing right now. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out once they get back from COVID. Usually there's kind of a step down because everybody has COVID brain. And,
Yeah.
there's always some kind of repercussions from that. But most of the time, they'll get back into shape probably by the Big Ten tournament. And Ohio
Yeah. They
State,
should be fine.
Ohio
They'll
State,
play. They'll play well.
Ohio State's a good team. Villanova, maybe. They're dealing with the
They've
COVID
been
stuff
there.
right now.
They've been there.
And Alabama, I don't think so. I think Alabama's going to get whacked by somebody. I'm not sure who.
Yeah.
Illinois, no. Houston, no. Oklahoma, no. No offense, Ryan. Oklahoma, no. Arkansas, no. Missouri, no. Tennessee, no. The SEC's whack this year.
Yeah.
ACC wise, Virginia, maybe they made a good run a couple years ago, won the national championship. So
Yeah.
it's possible that Virginia maybe pull it off. I think they could be.
Possible.
They were the next in line for the 2 seed. I should point that out. Virginia probably could
Mhm.
flip with Houston, or any of them, Illinois, Alabama, especially Alabama losing Missouri. So, you know,
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be an interesting tournament, but yeah, I think we kind of already know who's going to be there at the end. It's normally kind of You kind of hey, there's a Cinderella run here and there, but you know who's going to be there at the end.
Right now, I'm looking at some of these scores right now. Ole Miss is up 22 versus 21 versus Missouri. Early first. I mean, not early first, but halfway through the first half. Houston won tonight, 82 to 65 against South Florida.
There you
Virginia,
go.
Georgia Tech, 57 to 49. That was kind of a blowout win. And Villanova's beating Marquette 21 to 18, middle way through the first as well.
Good win if they can
And
pull it off.
yeah, and Tennessee's beating Georgia 59 to 42. Those are your top 25 scores for the night. But I think that's good for I think we'll see Villanova. We'll see what happens with them. Marquette's kind of bad this year, so they should win that game pretty easily. But like
Yeah, I could see Villanova making a run though.
you
I
can
could
see
see it.
Villanova. I could see them too. I think they're a hidden team. I think Texas. I think you go watch out for Texas. They're one of those teams I think could get hot and funny. I think Texas and Michigan. Those are the two teams that I say would make if there were two teams that I would just randomly pick to make a run, maybe to win. I would say Texas. I think Shaka Smart, Juwan Howard would both get their teams ready for the big
Yeah.
dance.
I'd also watch out for like a Texas Tech or maybe even a West Virginia. Those two look pretty
Well,
good
West
this
Virginia has
year.
been pulling a lot of good wins, as I said earlier.
Yeah,
I think they're going to beat Oklahoma this Saturday. No offense, Ryan,
really, really.
but I think they could make a good run. I mean, West Virginia's been beating all these good teams in the Big 12, but they stay.
They have.
Whoever
They've been
ranked these teams must hate them because they are not moving up in the standings very much. But they beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech stays the same, goes up by what 2 points, and West Virginia only moves up 3. That's like crazy, but whatever. But that's kind of the end of the college basketball. Any final thoughts on the upcoming games? I didn't look up who Clemson plays this Saturday. Let me look.
I'm kind of interested to see what North Carolina is going to continue to do. I think that Duke win against Duke will kind of keep them going up, and then of course, obviously, I'm excited to watch the Big 12 games that are coming on this weekend. So that'll be fun. Baylor, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma, West Virginia. I think that those should be the highlights of this weekend.
The reason I didn't talk about Clemson, Georgia Tech is because they play on Friday. So I didn't look at the Friday games,
There we
but they
go.
play on Friday. So it'll be at Georgia Tech travels to Clemson. Georgia Tech is 9-7, Clemson 12-5. Clemson should cruise in that game. But don't Clemson, who knows? But they
Yeah.
should cruise in that game.
It'll be fun.
They should have a pretty easy schedule coming up. I can look at Clemson's schedule before we move on.
Yeah, they play Georgia Tech next.
Notre
Uh,
Dame, Pittsburgh, Wake Forest, Miami. See, those teams all stink. Notre Dame's not any good this year. Pittsburgh's okay. They beat Pittsburgh twice. Miami stinks. Wake Forest stinks.
yeah,
So,
they should win out. But
so that's why they were probably ranked that way, is they because they stink, because the rest of their schedule stinks. Let me see if I can find Arkansas schedule real fast,
yeah, go for it.
and we'll talk about them.
Who's Arkansas got? I forgot.
They played Missouri on.
You're right. At Missouri, that's right.
They
That
played.
could be a good game. I mean, Missouri's
Yeah,
dropped a couple, so it's
yeah,
possible.
Missouri's dropped a couple. They did beat Alabama though, so you could say that. I don't know. It's just it's so weird with Missouri. So we played Missouri at Missouri, then Florida, then we're at A&M, then we play Alabama at home, LSU at home, and then we're at South Carolina. I'm thinking about going to that South Carolina game. That's one of the games I have circled. It's at South Carolina. If I can get tickets, I'm probably going to try to go. Maybe I'll watch a game or something. But I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's a good chance for Arkansas. I think they can. I think if they can beat Missouri, I believe that. Florida, I think we'll beat Florida. I think we'll definitely beat A&M. We have a tough ending schedule, man. Florida and A&M, maybe. I think we win those games. Alabama, who knows? That's a
Happy.
9 o'clock game, so it'll be kind of a later game. So I mean, there's no telling. And then LSU at home as well. I think both of those games at all Florida, Alabama, and LSU are all at home. While Texas A&M and South Carolina, the two easy teams we have, they're on the road. So I think that's good for Arkansas, maybe to win those last couple of games on the road.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind
at
of
home
favorable.
we can win the easy ones at on the road. So
Yeah.
that kind of ends. Oh yeah, before I go, I want to reiterate Betting information for Saturday's basketball games will be on my Twitter and Instagram on Friday night. So be looking out for that if you listen to the podcast the next couple days. And the next couple on Friday night, on Friday. So Ryan, let's go ahead and move on to the college football section.
There we go. Yeah, so start off with a little bit of transfer news. It's been a little quiet in the college football world, as
One would
recruiting
imagine.
died off, and obviously we don't have games until next fall. But Mike Jones Jr., the former Clemson linebacker who was a starter this past year, he a few weeks ago he went to transfer portal. He's finally decided that he's going to go to LSU. Yeah, it's kind of a weird pick. Maybe he just likes being a Tiger. I don't know, but
Yeah.
he's going to stay. He's going to go over to LSU. He's going to be a Tiger for next year. And Clemson also had their guy enter the transfer portal, and Leanthony Williams Jr. He's a backup defensive back. He's a former four-star. We don't know where he's going just yet, but not a huge loss as he's a backup. He's never really expected to start. And I believe he was entering his senior season, so it kind of makes sense that, just try and go to find a place where you're going to get the stats and the snaps that you want. So those are kind of your two transfer portal news. There's not really a whole lot going on in the
College football world.
the FBS version of college football, but we're starting to segue into a little bit of FCS, which
Yeah.
is kind of exciting. Me and Trennon were talking about it earlier. There are 3 South Carolina teams in the top 25. That's I haven't heard of that in a long time. What do you think about that?
So yeah, let me run through the top 25 real quick, and then I'll talk about what I could find on all of them.
Yeah.
I got some notes on here on Jackson State, Furman, and Wofford, but
Texas State is gonna be fun.
yeah, they're going to be good. So Southeastern Louisiana clocks in 25, Chattanooga 24, Wofford, one of our South Carolina teams, I believe, 23,
Yep.
23rd, whatever you want to say. 22 is Monmouth, Elon's 21, Sam Houston State's 20th, the Citadel 19th. That's a local South Carolina Charleston team. Pretty exciting for them
Yep.
to be 19th. Jacksonville State, we just previously mentioned, 18th. New Hampshire is going to be 17th. Southern Illinois 16th. Nichols 15. Eastern Washington's 14. Delaware's 13. Albany's 12. Austin Peay is 11th. North Carolina A&T comes in at 10th. Illinois State at 9th. Furman at 8th. So they're the highest ranked South Carolina team.
Yep.
Kennesaw State comes in at 7th. Northern Iowa comes in at 6th. Villanova can't stop talking about them, apparently. Comes in at 5th. James Madison comes in at 4th. Weber State comes in at 3rd. Wow. And South Dakota State comes in at 2. And North Dakota State, the team who wins it every year, comes in at 1st.
Shocker.
First of all, I want to make a statement on South Dakota State and North Dakota State. Just become FBS. Stop playing around. I mean, what are you doing? Especially North Dakota State, bunch of cowards. You pummeling it. You pummel. First of all, they beat FBS teams every year. So what are you afraid of? And then South Dakota State, what are you doing? Both of those teams need to sharpen up. Just come on, play with the big boys. I don't know what conference they joined. Probably the MAC or something stupid like that. Maybe the American Conference. MAC. Or maybe the Mountain West. They're kind of in that mountain range.
That's a good option.
Not real mountains in North or South Dakota, but they're more flatlands. But I think they're opportunistic for both of those schools to maybe come FBS. But that's just a little personal opinion I have. But I'll give you the notes I have on Jackson State, Furman, and Wofford. There were nothing on Citadel. I looked it up. I Googled them. I YouTubed them. I looked up everything. I was trying to find one sliver of information for and I found one thing for every team except for the Citadel. I just couldn't find anything on them. I figured some Charleston jerk off would post something about them, but nothing. Silent. Their YouTube page, silent.
Are they playing?
Yeah, I mean they're ranked. If you ranked and not playing, you got something going on up here. But I don't know. I mean, why would they be ranked if they weren't playing? Maybe I wouldn't rank them. And that was like a legit poll.
Last year, so I didn't know.
Yeah, they played in the fall.
Yeah,
Play like 4 games in the fall. You might as well come out and play a couple in the spring.
I guess so.
The same level of opponent. I don't know. It's just a personal opinion I have. But Jackson State, I read the video I watched on them. They held their first scrimmage a couple days ago. Shapur Sanders,
Mhm.
Deion
Yep.
Sanders' kid, he's starting
Yeah.
quarterback. So he looked very good in the limited amount of film I could watch. And I figured they'd be coming out with that Hard Knocks thing they were going to be doing, but I haven't seen anything on it. But uh, the film I watched on the limited film it was like a news broadcast. You know how they
Yeah,
do
I saw that. Yeah.
broadcast, and they said Shapur Sanders is probably going to be the starting quarterback. They named Cortland Hubbard as their deep thrower, deep catching wide receiver. So that was pretty interesting. He seems like a really solid target for them. And they Kyland Ritchie, I believe his name is, was noted as a solid blocking and receiving tight end for the Jackson State. I don't know their mascot. You know their mascot?
I don't actually.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he that's their solid blocking tight end. So I think they're going to be a good offensive powerhouse. They said
Oh,
they
yeah.
did have some good defensive players. There was one that was specifically mentioned. I don't remember his name, but they'll be okay defensively. But I think the power is going to be off of their.
Yeah, and they stole Deion Sanders' other son, who's a defensive back from
I was
South
going to
Carolina.
say the cornerback, I believe. So
Yep,
that's
he's a
pretty interesting.
cornerback. He was a former 4-star, so he's talented. He played with South Carolina. He wasn't a starter, but he was young. So
So he'll
good.
he might play. He might play a lot, especially at the FCS level, because there's a good chance he might play a ton.
Yeah.
Because he's probably way better than the
Oh,
normal recruits they
I'm
have.
confident.
If he was playing in South Carolina, so I mean there should be something said about that. But a quote from not a quote, but Deion Sanders kind of summarized what he said after the practice. He expects greatness to never settle, and he said the scrimmage led to some solid intensity for his team. So I thought that was pretty great. And then so that's them. Any thoughts on Jackson State before I move on to Furman?
No, but I did look it up. It's the Jackson State Tigers.
That's what I'm talking.
So,
I was expecting something funny, something cool. Whatever.
yeah.
Lame. Lame.
I mean, we do root for the Tigers a little bit too.
And the
So
next, I will say, yeah, but they're original. Clemson's original. First Death Valley, the real Death Valley.
that's true. That's true. We do have Death Valley.
The next team we're going to talk about has a wild name, Furman Paladins. That's wacky. What a crazy name that is. But
It's
our
fun.
coach was talking, and he made the statement that it's finally for the first time since he's been there. I don't know how long he's been there, but it's first time he's been there. They have an older, more mature football team. So I think that could lead to a really good outing for them this year. I think that's probably why they're ranked so high,
Yeah.
because they have a solid older team. And if you think about it, I know it, I know it, I don't know if it matters or not. They didn't play in the fall. So I think there'll be better teams because of that, because they're not going to be injured playing the big boys. They're not going to get smacked. So that doesn't mean their confidence lowers. So I think it'll be good for Furman to, just play like the normal teams they usually play. I think that'll be good for them.
Let's
And,
play Carolina or Clemson.
the coach also said they're bigger and faster in previous years. So that's crazy. I mean, I see why they're ranked 9th, because they've got a good team this year. He didn't hold back by saying their team wasn't any good. So he must believe that their team must have a lot of good talent on the depth chart. Here's a name for you. Write this down in your notebook. Hamp Sison.
What?
Yeah. Hamp, HAMP, Sison, SISSON. Hamp Sison.
Okay.
The guy said it in the interview, and he's like, Hamp Sison. I was like, what in the world did he say? So I just wrote down in Google what he said. I was like, that's crazy. It cannot be the guy's name. No way. Right, dude's that's a football. I don't know what kind of. I wouldn't even say that's a football name. Arkansas has a guy named Bumper Pool on their team. That's a football name.
That's a fun
Hamp
name.
Tyson, wild name. Hamp sounds like ham. I don't know where they got that from. He might be. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a
Yeah.
great guy. He had a great freshman outing. He redshirted his freshman year. So when he had his freshman redshirt year, he was good, really good, and according to their thing, sophomore QB, gonna be leading the team. Experience, been there for 3 years now. Experience last year being the guy. Now he's fully the guy this year, so it's going to be his team. So I think it's going to be something to watch out if you're into South Carolina FCS football. I mean, football's football at the end of the day. I'll be watching. I mean, I love football. I was a big fan of the XFL when they had that last year before COVID hit. I thought it was great to watch in the spring. It's something other than basketball, and especially once college basketball ends and it's just like baseball and the NBA. It's like, oh my God. So FCS football will give us something deep to talk about. We can watch those games. That'll be something good to talk about.
I'm glad they're having a spring season.
Start this podcast, I tell you what. I don't know. Do you have any opinions on Furman? Probably not. There's not a lot of opinions to have.
I love their.
There's not a lot of info out on them.
I love their.
How do you have opinions about something you don't have any info on? I literally Googled them. I Googled everything about FCS before we did the podcast. It was nothing. I was like, how do you not, if you're a Greenville person, how do you not write something on them? How do you not be on that? They're about to start football season. You write nothing? How does that work?
South Carolina has some of the most interesting mascot names on the collegiate level. I mean, we got Presbyterian, the Blue Hose. We got the Wofford Terriers.
Yeah, Terry, they're the next team we're talking about.
Yeah, Presbyterians. Terriers. You got the Paladins. I mean,
Gamecocks.
The Gamecocks, if you wanted to.
Wild name too, if you think about it. I mean, there's just one other Gamecock.
The Chanticleers.
That's a wild name.
That's a wild name.
I know
where it's at.
I know they're in North Carolina, but Appalachian State, the Mountaineers. What are what are there again?
Mountaineers.
So it's kind of like West Virginia. That's not that original, I guess.
No.
But still, the Chanticleers, what a wild football name.
What a wild name. Love it.
Paladins, wild. Terriers, wild. They were like, let's be Bulldogs, but not. It would be like, let's be the Bulldogs, but different. That's
what could we name our team? Oh, yeah, I have a terrier. That's perfect.
We're the Bulldogs, but with a little spice. That's what they were thinking about when they came up with the idea for the Wofford Terriers. We could do a whole show talking about the Chanticleer stuff. That's one of the wildest. I always say Arkansas's got a cool name, the Razorbacks.
That's cool.
That's pretty out left field, right? But man, Chanticleers is like way out in left field. Like who in the world? Original. I have to look back on that and say whoever who came up with that. A wild band of Chanticleers.
It's definitely one of the most original names out there.
All time. And the Blue Hose. That's wild.
I don't know where that even came from.
A blue hose? I don't even know what that is. You know, a hose, but
water hose.
Like, no way. They have a garden hose as their daggone mascot.
I don't know what their mascot is. That's horrible.
I got to know. That's gonna bug me.
Blue hose.
Blue. I'm gonna look up blue hose. Nothing came up. So off to a hot start. Presbyterian. What is a blue hose? All right, here we go. This is what. Yeah, I have ad blocker on. Relax. Okay, the nickname Blue Hose began in the early 1900s when sports writers referred to Presbyterian college athletic teams as the Blue Stockings because blue socks they wore. Writer used the term stockings and hose, so it's blue socks.
Okay.
That's awesome. Is the mascot a big blue sock just dancing around? No, what?
You got like knee socks.
Also referred to as the strong Puritan leanings. Oh, maybe it's like a Christian thing. That's like the opposite of what I would. When I hear blue hose, I don't think Christianity. I can tell you that much. At any rate, the sports nickname was shortened to Blue Hose in 1959, presumably under the assumption that it sounded somewhat fiercer to carry on the field of athletic battle. Yeah. Woo! I'm a blue hose, baby. That's cool.
So fearsome.
supposed to be something
So
about the
fearful.
Scottish Warriors or something like that. Maybe that's their mascot. Yeah, it's a Viking looking thing. I could show it on the thing, but it's like it kind of take the CSU mascot, you know, the one that they have the little Buccaneer thing.
Little Buccaneer guy.
Take the hat off, get rid of the eye patch, and just put on red hair and a kilt. That's what it looks like. I mean, I swear to God, that's what I'm looking at right here. College basketball team nickname bracket champions, the Blue Hose. And when I looked up Blue Hose and all it came up was the Presbyterian thing, I just typed in Blue Hose and a bunch of blue water hose. That's awesome. What a great name.
What a great school.
What
I'm
a
glad
great
we have
shout out to
that
the Blue Hose. Whoever goes there, I mean, good for you, dude.
state.
Good for you. Wofford didn't have much on them either. Not
The
so
option team, you know.
led by the quarterback's name is Jimmy Wyrick. They give an interview with him when they're after their first. Both of these things, Furman and Wofford. The only thing I could get on them was their own school did their interview, like a student reporter asked the head coach questions, and after the first practice, almost a month and a half ago, well, middle of January. Yeah, I think January 15th or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can find on any of them. It's crazy that nobody's saying anything. Maybe they just don't have enough press, I guess. It's not like
There's a
my mom
monopoly
makes my
on
related
upstate
Clemson.
football right now with Clemson.
Yeah, see, I think Clemson, right, or any of them, Arkansas, South Carolina, Arkansas, Dabo Sweeney breathes and he has a press conference. So I guess you know, and he's getting hounded by 100 reporters about why he breathed and why you. Never mind, I'm not going to get into. I almost said something I would have regretted, but you know, I just can't. I just don't understand it. I guess, but they happy to be going again, happy to be playing football.
Exactly.
I got.
Well,
So until I get more
it'll be fun for
information,
FCS.
I'm not going to hear. We're not going to hear anything probably. I mean, we'll talk about it when they
Cool.
until they start playing. I'll hear stuff.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we're
Until
not
they
gonna hear
start playing,
anything
we're
until
not
they start playing.
anything. Then when they start playing, there'll be a lot of information. But
Yeah,
until they start actually playing football, we're not going to hear anything. But
we'll hear from Jackson State, but that's
that's
literally
about
it.
the run of it. I mean, I could probably look up North Dakota State stuff. I'm not
I
even.
did want to point out one team in the top 25, Jacksonville State.
Is that the
Got
Gamecocks?
the Gamecocks, yes, the other Gamecocks. I wanted to point out their quarterback, Zariq Cooper.
Oh
He's
yeah,
a
Clemson guy.
former Clemson player, transferred to the Gamecocks, and he's he's expected to be one of the best players. He's up for he's a preseason Walter Payton Award prediction finalist.
Cool.
So he
Yeah.
should be a good one.
Yeah, shout out to Zariq Cooper.
Yeah,
He
sure.
I didn't ever have a good positive opinion because that one game, I don't know if you remember this, but that one game when Clemson lost to Syracuse, he was
Mhm.
the guy that came in, I think. And I always never forgave him for that one loss. Even though I think we like that was the Kelly Bryant year, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Kelly Bryant.
Didn't matter. We still made the playoffs, but still,
Yeah,
we could not.
yeah.
Syracuse out of all people, man.
We didn't have a quarterback back then.
Yeah, we got a running back. Lord forgive me for saying that. But that's kind of the end of the notes I have on the FCS. So
Yeah.
great show today. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I'm ready for this weekend with some big basketball games. Looking forward to that.
Let me
Oh, actually, NCAA.
oh,
Almost forgot again.
I even wrote it down on the first page, but then I started flipping pages. As a guy who loves NCAA football, who spent painstaking hours modding his PS3, jailbreaking it. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I might say it's sued or something like that. I didn't do that actually. I'm just kidding. And got college revamped on my PlayStation 3. I would never do anything illegal, even though I don't think it's illegal. It shouldn't be. I got college football revamped. I never thought they'd come out with it. First of all, I have two thoughts.
Okay.
First of all, please ESPN, ESPN, well ESPN, please EA, please, 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 please don't mess this up.
No.
I mean, this will be the most bought video game of all time. There's a good chance. I don't know if it actually will be, but there will be a high chance
We a lot of
this
love.
video game is going to be very well sold. Please don't put a bunch of trading cards in it. Don't put a bunch of microtransactions. Don't make it anything like Madden. Madden stinks. I think everybody agrees with that. Madden is an awful franchise. It stinks. Please, 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 EA. I know you won't ever hear this, but if you do, don't mess it up with a bunch of crap. I mean, you look at all these big, and I want to get a big sports rant, but look at any of them. They all stink now. Every sports game stinks other than maybe NHL. I don't know how you feel about FIFA. I think FIFA's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
made by NCAA too. I mean, EA too. So they're a bunch of crooks. But I mean, 2K stinks now. All they do is mess up the game every year, put a bunch of microtransactions, put the same skin on it. I mean, that's what they do with the NCAA too now. But they did edit it a little bit. We're not asking for a lot. I don't want a miraculous experience. I want to play exhibition games with my buddies. I want a nice online thing. That'd be kind of cool. Play people online. I never really did that in the old NCAA games. And I want dynasty mode. That's all I
Yep.
want. And I want
Brand
60 something years too, even though I quit after the first 5 years, probably the first 2 years, because usually I get bored. Once I become a head coach in my NCAA games, I usually just quit, be like, whatever. I only did 1 year as an Ole Miss. Did I tell you about that? So I don't want to go into a big NCAA rant. People don't care about this, but we and Ryan, before we recorded like our first episode, I was playing it a ton. And I had a dynasty with Ole Miss. And we played Clemson. They edit all the teams in the college football revamp thing to be as good as they are. And we played Clemson. I beat everybody that whole year. It was, not Alabama was the only team that really gave me some deep trouble. But I generally beat everybody pretty solidly. Clemson whooped me in that game. We played them in the national championship, Wasn't even I had all my players too. It was just I'm not one of those people. I used to be one of those people that if I didn't like the outcome of a game, and I didn't, and I just lost. And that losing that game cost me a bunch of head coaching jobs. I mean, wasn't even contention for like someone you think I would be.
Yeah.
Losing that one game right before the coaching carousel killed me. And
really?
then I know like people don't care. I like the game, so I like talking about it.
It's a great game.
I think that's why they should make it good, because people like me love the football game. Yeah, I think that's why I think they should make it a good game. But anyway, yeah, the one that killed me, I'll tell you, when I was in the coaching carousel, it's when you get new jobs. For the people who listening don't know what I'm talking about. You go to the coaching carousel after the season ends, you get a new job wherever you want. If they hire you, and no one hired me, but it's Kansas had fired Les Miles, and I was like, I've got to be hired by Kansas, worst football team of all time. Wasn't even in consideration. I said to myself, I was sitting there, I was like, this may be the lowest point in my NCAA tenure.
You made it to the national championship.
I lost. Doesn't matter. I lost. It doesn't matter if I made it or not. Who cares? If you ain't first, you're last. I was last. We were ranked third at the last poll. I went from an A+. I went from an A, not an A+. I went from an A rating, so they give you ratings. I went from an A to a B- because I lost one game. I had the national. I broke every Ole Miss rushing record. My running back won the Heisman Trophy by like 1,000 points, blowout win. Wasn't even close. It's insane. And I couldn't even get a job at freaking Kansas. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Maybe at Alabama, they fired Nick Saban that season too. Wasn't in contention for that either. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah, the wackiest season of all time.
Crazy. Yeah, they fired Nick Saban, and they only lost like 2 games. One of them was us.
Unacceptable.
Game unacceptable. And I was like, what? They lost to Oklahoma too, by the way. Old Lincoln Riley was the one putting the nail in old Nick. But so my whole rant there, why they should make the game. What do you think about the game? Before I keep going,
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I mean, I I played the games as a kid all through, until I stopped making it in the NCAA 14 back in 2013. Um, I'm really excited. It was a big part of my childhood, and I played it all the time. I would always play in dynasty mode, and
I'm gonna
just
play that
build.
tonight.
Yeah, you just build a career, and you get to recruit, and it's fun. So I'm excited. I do agree with Trenton. I don't want to see any like microtransactions or any of that garbage. Um, Honestly, if they just updated the graphics and slapped new ratings on the teams and just put
Oh, it's
NCAA 14
be all
up
you
there,
need to do for me.
oh, I'll
I
play it.
see, the thing with Madden, I don't know if you played a Madden game recently. I just bought this last one. I had it on sale for like $20 during Christmas time, so I bought it. And the thing about Madden, it's too realistic. I know that sounds crazy, but it really is. It's too real. I
Yeah.
just don't like that. But I think Big Cat for Barstool Sports was talking about the game. He kind of revitalized the whole NCAA thing. I don't know if you know about the whole Coach Doug's thing from the summer. If not, I'll inform you after the podcast ends. But Coach Doug's, he had this whole thing. Anyway, he was talking about the game, and he was like, I really don't want the game to be good. And he's like, and let me explain what he mean by that. He wants the game to not be like Madden because Madden's too realistic. He kind of wants it to be like it was because the best thing about college football, the NFL players are always so great. They're just great players. The
Yeah,
NFL,
they're all great.
they're like all good players. But the thing about college football is like they kind of stink sometimes. These cornerbacks, they're not going to make it to the NFL, so they get burned on certain routes. The running backs get busted the line. I think that's what makes college football great. Is because there's explosive plays, there's changing, and
Yeah.
that's what I think there should be like. I think I kind of don't want it to be that great, but I want the game to be great. I want the recruiting to be great and the dynasty to be great, and
Yeah.
be able to give my players bags of cash and from
And
McDonald's.
McDonald's bags, sing Rocky Top on the way through the drive-through.
And I would like to buy my kids cars, get them to come. I wish there was an option. That'd be so awesome. Could you imagine? If you come to my school, I'll buy you a car.
Committed.
The next point, right before we wrap it up, this is a long episode. I've been rambling and ranting about NCAA football for 20 minutes now. But the last point I like to make about the game is I would like the game to be I like the game to be if they can't put real names and players in there, just give us the teams. Who cares? Yeah, they
Exactly.
give you an option for modders and stuff. Not modders, but you gotta get like roster share like they did years ago. If they do
Yeah.
that, it's done within an hour. The game releases, and then boom, somebody's already done it within 2 hours. So you can't tell me that it's not. You can just get the names and players and likeness. Don't put them in the game. Put a bunch of random people in there, and just let
Exactly.
the modding community do it, and they'll have it
It's
done within
it's
an
fun
hour.
football.
Yeah, who cares? You don't have to pay a player squat. I saw one
I'm
guy.
fine the old way. I don't care.
Yeah, I saw one guy. He tweeted. What did he tweet? One of the Arkansas players. He tweeted, "Bring me my bag to the NCAA train." I got so like upset about that because like, dude, like you don't know what this means to like the random guy like I am. You don't matter. This game matters. This game is bigger than you. This is bigger than you. We're bigger than any Arkansas player, bigger than any Alabama player. This game is bigger than you. I was like, you have to understand that this is what people like me have been craving since 2013.
We have
That's
been
a
waiting for
long
this
time.
for so long. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't want to pay them players nothing, don't pay them anything. It's not for them. It's for the random people like me, for the average Joe. That's what it's about. So that's my final piece on the NCAA football game. Any other final thoughts about the NCAA football game?
Nope, just excited to play it whenever it comes out.
That's right. So this is the end of the podcast. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks to Ryan, my co-host. Great job tonight. I feel like we had a lot of good conversation. If you see this on YouTube, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I know a lot of people have been telling me they liked it. One of the guys today, I couldn't believe it. I thought people didn't like the YouTube version. I thought the Spotify version would be the one that pops off. But I found out today that there's a guy, one of my buddies, he doesn't watch the Spotify. He doesn't listen to the Spotify version. He listens to the YouTube version. So I was like, that's crazy. I didn't think people actually cared for the YouTube version that much.
They
But
want to see a beautiful face.
that's right. Maybe that's what he said. He's like seeing our interactions. So they like seeing my bald, hairless face. Looks like a baby's bottom. But
So
anyway,
beautiful.
this is the end of the show. Thank you for Ryan. Like and subscribe. Thanks.
Have a good one.